to Momentum in Real Estate, your guide to success in the dynamic world of real estate. I'm Cory Wolf.
And I'm Kristin James. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned pro, we're here to help you reach new heights.
Success in real estate comes from learning, growing, and serving others.
Join us as we dive into strategies for lead generation, marketing, market trends, and client relationships.
Get ready to ignite your momentum and achieve your goals in real estate.
Let's dive in and unlock your full potential.
This is Momentum in Real Estate.
Renee Ruth is a powerhouse in real estate, blending a background in education with a passion for helping clients achieve their dreams. As a top producer with eXp Realty, she's built a thriving business in Lynchburg, Virginia, and beyond. With a doctorate in education and a knack for mentorship, she not only guides buyers and sellers, but also helps fellow agents grow successful careers. When she's not closing deals, she's a singer-songwriter, top 10 on iTunes in the US and UK in 2023, and a proud Yorkie mom. Renee lives by the mantra, what you think about, you bring about, and she's ready to help you turn your real estate goals into reality. Welcome to the podcast, Renee.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's nice to be here.
So nice to have you, Renee. Thank you so much. So you're going to sing for us to start. Okay, so tell us in your own words what your real estate story is.
So I did not grow up with entrepreneurial parents at all. They were both teachers. We kind of do what we know, right? So I became a university professor. My parents were high school teachers, and then I ended up teaching university for 15 years and loved it. I loved it. What I didn't love was the pay. And I got to my late 30s and I was like, I have no retirement plan. I have no, and I wasn't stressing it. I was just, I should maybe. And then in the process of teaching, I had met a good friend of mine. And at the time, he still is a real estate agent. And so he used to drag me to showings with him and make me bring him coffee at open houses. And I think just by proxy, I was getting to know the industry without realizing I was getting to know the industry. And so, when I got married, I ended up in a marriage that was not successful. And part of it was the financial side. Piece was very unsuccessful. And it put me into an incredible amount of debt. So not only did I not have a financial future, I was in a whole bunch of debt. And so I was just looking at this point, I could work anywhere in the United States because I'm a Canadian citizen. So teaching was really my only option on my particular visa. And once I got married, doors opened, right? But you're way behind the eight ball now because it's you're in your 30s. What are you going to start doing? So all of a sudden I was like, real estate? What happened was I ended up buying my first house and it was the worst experience ever. And at the time, I wasn't thinking, oh, I should do a career. I was thinking, let me get my license so that I can just do this for myself. And then that way, if it gets messed up, I can blame myself. It was just such a nightmare, my first time home buying. And when I got my license, all of a sudden, this friend asked, that friend asked, and I thought, this might be a way to at the time, I was like, maybe I could help some people not go through what I went through and get out of this debt was the initial, so I was still teaching and helping a few people. And then it wasn't until the school I was working for, interestingly, gave me no classes one summer. And that means no income, months of no income. And so that panic of I have no job. And then I was like, no, wait, I have a license. I was like, and all of a sudden it was I had this, my brain went like this. And I was like, I am going to make this work. I'm going to figure out how to be an entrepreneur. And I set goals. I set a 90-day goal. And I said, in 90 days, I'm going to sell 2 houses in July and 3 houses in August. I had no pipeline. I had no funnel. I had no sphere of influence. I just had this unshakable determination to succeed because I had no money. So I did it. In that August, I closed 2 in July. I closed 5 in August, and I launched my career. And that was it. They called me for classes that September, and I said, I politely declined. And I've made a career helping people. And really, you hear me say I had all this debt, and I tell everybody this: you can be in as much debt as you want, but you have to make it about people, helping people, focus on people. When you do that, the money comes, right? And so, but you have to have goals. If you don't have a roadmap for the next 90 days, the next, 4 quarters, the next 5 years, you're literally as an agent wandering around going nowhere, which is kind of what I did at first, right? For the first 2 years when I was still teaching. So did I answer your question?
You did. And you actually touched on, several other things that we're hoping to kind of peel the layers of the onion back on, but we are also agents with eXp Realty. And so we know that you have achieved incredible success within our brokerage as a 6-time Icon agent, which is an award for kind of massive production. You rank in the top 2% at our brokerage. You've shared a little bit of this, but maybe expand on what key factors you feel like have been part of your sustained success.
Sustained. What I love, so I'm going to pitch our company here really quick. This is my third brokerage. I started in a boutique, I switched to a boutique, and then I landed here and never left. And the first boutique I was in, I was told when I got licensed, I'd be lucky to get hired by anybody. That's what I was told. You'll be lucky. Nobody wants you. You're challenged, you're difficult. And let's be real, if you're a brand new agent, you are. Like, you have no idea what you're doing and you're asking 1,000 questions, and every agent works for themselves and they're very busy, including most brokers. So I didn't understand all that when that was being said to me, but I ended up feeling so grateful to get into this brokerage because of my friend who was like, oh, I'll help her. Now, most of us as entrepreneurs, we're fast learners. Like, if you just really give it to us, we'll figure it out and go. So I had him for, 2 years, but the next brokerage I went to, because they had a 90-10 split, I was really upset about the commission. I was like, this guy's taking 25% from me. He doesn't provide me anything, no leads, no, not even open houses. Like, it really was just, it felt like I was paying for nothing. The next one guy was 90-10. And I left a 90-10 to come to an 80-20 because the 80-20 afforded me a roadmap. eXp said, here, if you can achieve these things in 12 months, here are mile markers. If you can achieve these things in 12 months, we will monetarily reward you. I don't know how anyone is in an entrepreneurial business that can't be motivated by that. If that doesn't motivate you, then you're not in the right business, in my humblest opinion. And so for me, when I heard that, I was like, okay, so this was after my 90-day story where I, launched. I had just closed that 1 million month, my first 1 million month in real estate. And I had paid that 10% to that broker who was giving me less than nothing for the 10%. And I was like, unhappy. I thought, you know what? Now I am the commodity. I am the commodity. I am the one bringing something to the table. What am I getting in return? So I actually went and interviewed all the brokerages I could find who would speak to me. And funny enough, that 1 million month must not have registered anywhere to anybody, because there's a group of people that wouldn't even answer my phone calls. Right. And I'm like, yeah, I'd answer that call from an agent 1000%. So I didn't know, whoever talked to me, I went and talked to, and I have people that join me in eXp because they're like, you did the research, you did the homework. I trust you, because I did. I really did. And so what sold me on our company, and this is not your question, I'm deviating, but I'll get around the bend in a second. And sorry for the dings, in real estate, it just keeps going. What sold me was that it was a global company. So I'm Canadian, if you don't know, born and raised, came to America for school, never left. But I like the idea of being part of a company that I could just go to Canada and not have to switch brokerages again. That really appealed to me. Then the thing that appealed to me was the stock opportunity, because my friends worked for Starbucks in the 90s, same stock plan with Starbucks. They were there for 7 years, maybe 15 years later, their little piddly stock from their little barista wages were $1 million a piece. And so I was like, I was too late for that train. But when I saw eXp, and I was like, 5% of our commissions is a heck of a lot more than what a barista makes every single week. It was a no-brainer for me. Those were the two things. But the thing that I didn't know I was going to love the most was that map. And that is truly, guys, how I have iconed. I came into eXp, a mildly seasoned agent. Like I said, I had $1 million month. But because, when you switch brokerages, your business kind of does this because you're trying to get in and, So I came in, like I said, I had, again, no sphere of influence. I had to reboot again in a new brokerage. And it was this tunnel vision. I will icon. And so I took the 12 months and worked my way backwards, set the goals. I said, I need to cap latest by this day. And guys, how I did it is just sheer determination, because that year I didn't cap until August, and my year restarted on December 1. And I had to sell 20 more houses between August and December 1 in the fall when kids go back to school. And somehow I did it. And the thing is, what's really amazing about the goal structure in eXp is that all that momentum that you put in, like that tunnel vision, all that, it spins to the next year. And so if you don't take your foot off that gas, There's no reason you're not going to icon. So then it turned into how quickly can I cap? How quickly can I icon? Like it turned into this little game. And then finally I was like, okay, I've done it. What's next? So like, that's where I'm at in my business a little bit, which is why I've started coaching and shifting into that space, because I'm like, I mean, you can't cap an icon in 2 months and I don't even want to try. So I'm like, been there, done that. What's next?
That's amazing. I love your passion too. And I know you said it was just sheer determination to get you there for, your first time being an agent and all that stuff, and then into a new brokerage. But there's got to be some strategies there. So share with us, like having no pipeline, having no funnel, like what little bits of advice or what is in that roadmap in that beginning stage that got you to where you're at?
So I can share with you, I actually created a free tutorial for any agent on that very question that I can give you the link for. And it actually, you can book a call because I've created what I've called it's called, let me get this right. Hold on. It's called the Platinum Agent University. And it's called the Legacy Listings Method. And so I've created a university because that was my former life. I taught. And the one thing that happens when agents come into real estate, even if you've been managing to sell a few houses, you really don't know. There's no course for this. You take a class to get a license and then use nothing. And then all of a sudden you're just in the weeds, trying to figure out how to get back to shore. So yeah, literally pushing your way. So I decided to create a university course where I'm going to teach a 4-month course and it starts on each individual's time schedule. When you start, your 4 month starts. But I will teach you exactly what I'm about to tell you here on like a grassroots basis. The first thing that I did, and this is what I tell everyone to do, is you have to get into open houses. We are now out of the pandemic. Open houses are back if your market supports it. But if you live in the United States, your market will support it. And you just get into them because the path of least resistance. I used to drive around and be like, there are people here that need to sell. Somebody just passed away. Their kids going after, like, I'm looking at all these people. I'm like, how do I find them? Like, how do I get them? And I realized that like partnering with agents who had listings to get into these houses was one of the greatest ways to do it. So that was one. And this is a very important rule that you abide by. You do them for 12 months. Every single week. I don't care if you get into them and you're not getting clients, you are the problem. And then you need to team up with somebody to learn how to do this well. And so that's part of the thing that I teach in the class. The other thing that I did was I leveraged social media. And like when I started, that's 6-7 years ago now, right? Social media it's even more different now. But back then I created, so you guys, a cup of coffee a day, $5 a day, created a Facebook ad campaign. And I took some classes. I paid, again, like you pay for an education, you're going to pay one way or another. I paid for some classes, learned how to do this. And I would get lists of leads, names and numbers. And like any lead situation, most of them are garbage, but you need the one, right? So I got a couple of them that way. I never door knocked, you guys, and I never cold called because I hated it. I thought it's dumb and I'm not going to do it. So I didn't. I just didn't. I was like, I don't want to do this. I had no friends to call and I had no family to call on. There is a lot to do with the two things that I just mentioned. You can build your entire business off those two. I did. Your entire business. The course that I offer also gives you training on Facebook ads and a CRM that will be yours forever that teaches you how to build out ads on Facebook and Instagram. So you have those two tools alone, you could drive your entire business. It's just how you do them is the secret.
It's incredible. And I mean, one thing that Cory and I continue to learn and hear from, top producers, industry experts is that it all works. It's just a matter of like, are you willing to work and picking the one or two strategies that you're going to build your business around and just diving in and being committed to it. So I love your kind of sense of focus and also, just the determination and the will to just be like, I'm going to get this done. What do you think? And you've sort of hit on this a little bit, but what's a misconception that people have about the real estate industry that you wish aspiring agents understood?
Misconceptions about the industry. So everybody thinks it's quick money. You heard my story. I got into it because I was in debt and I needed to figure out how to make money fast. Like when you're in a lot of debt, getting out means you need to make a lot of money. So I think a lot of people get into it thinking it's their get rich quick scheme. And it's not. I will say this, there's no reason you can't get in and make a living out the gate. The only reason, and I will tell you, you want to know the thing that I've noticed that most agents fail because of on the jump? Because I could tell you, you could take my class. I could teach you everything I've done. I literally have created a blueprint for what I did to do that 90 days, those seven deals in 90 days. I give the playbook. So many agents hold their cards close. I don't know what it is. They feel like if I tell you how I succeeded, you'll somehow take business from me. And none of that is true. So I have a blueprint, but here's what I've realized because I've coached many agents is that if you do not have a winning mindset, you will fail. And that to me is actually more important than the open house conversation and and the paying for leads and all of that is irrelevant if you live with limiting beliefs, if you don't have the right mindset to work with people, deal with people, face, see opposition, hear no's, handle objections. If you haven't got the mindset that can handle that, you will crumble in this business. And so aligning yourself with people that can teach you first, identify where your mindset is, and then teach you how to build an ironclad winning mindset. One of the most important things you could ever do.
That is, mic drop. That's it right there. I think it's so mindset. Kristin and I just went through Hurricane Helene in Western North Carolina, which never even occurred to anybody that would occur. And we're recovering our businesses or recovering all the things, but it is so true that your mindset is the winner, and that's what has done it. So what would you tell a woman specifically, especially because we're all in our heads, right? And things in life happens, especially if you have children, like that is something that can break you sometimes. What would you tell someone that's trying to break into top tier real estate professional world? How could they get there?
So women, it's funny you say women, because I've coached men who struggle with the same, especially you mentioned kids, when they're, especially in teenage years, when they start to act up, and like that can really wear on you, emotionally. And that is a key, like you need to be stable, regardless of the chaos around you, right? The one thing that I would encourage you to do that's absolutely life-changing, because when I first started my business, I was married in a challenging marriage with a beautiful stepdaughter who I adored. But I was, in chaos, right? Like my world was chaos. And I struggled I didn't start to produce well until I controlled my morning. And by that, I mean, we tend to go to bed thinking about everything that went wrong that day. That tends to be our default. And you close your eyes and just wish the day away, right? So one of the things you want to do at night is you want to set up a night routine where you spend about 5 minutes in gratitude. And the best way to do it is they even say, find a rock and hold the rock. And then while you're holding that rock, gratitude rock, think about the best thing that happened that day. So what that causes you to do is it causes you to ignore all the things that went wrong because you're focusing on the best. Because even if you've had the worst day ever, somebody might have smiled at you. You may have had a really great coffee. You could have met a friend for lunch, whatever it is, just find one and then go to bed on that, right? Instead of going to bed on the fight with the kids and the fight with all this and that. Then in the morning, you may not know this, but like in the morning, there's a reason. So I'm a Christian, born and raised. The church always said, do your devotions first thing in the morning. They never told you why. And not that it would have made me do it, but the why is so powerful. Our neurological pathways are malleable. First thing that, like when you open your eyes, your head, it's your mind, your brain is not running on the highways you've built. It is the only time in your life, in your day, that you could start a different course. So I would encourage you to wake up every single day when you open your eyes, right? Write down 10 things that you're thankful for. Even if it is as simple as I open my eyes, the birds are singing, the grass is green. Pick anything. Because for me, there was a time in my life where that was as good as it felt. Like it really did. That's as good as it felt. And if you're in Western North Carolina, if you're in those areas, people know that better than my situation. Like we're talking no home, no, you know what I'm saying? But if they wake up like that, their situation, circumstances will change quicker. So that ladies or men that get in their head and get stuck, that is the only way out of your head is what you do right before you go to bed and first thing in the morning. And then anytime that running dialogue comes to play about everything that's going wrong, you have to pivot. You have to pivot immediately. And you pivot with gratitude. That is how you pivot.
I love that. I feel like you were maybe like listening into our conversation this morning because Cory came to my house and we were talking about kind of a morning routine. And I was just sharing kind of, how I start my day. And I said something along the lines of, I can tell my day is different when I didn't have that in the morning. And sometimes I'll have to like pivot and insert it at a different time during the day. Maybe the morning just, whatever, went its own way. And I have to make time for that in the afternoon or in the evening. But how different my day is when I'm able to have that time to just kind of set my mindset and just have that time to just get into the day and get out of my head. And so I love that you mentioned that. You clearly have various passions. You use your time in lots of really productive ways. I really hate the concept of like work-life balance because I feel like it's a myth and it's just something we like, we talk about a lot in professional settings but that's neither here nor there. Talk about how you, as a high achieving professional, how do you strike that balance in terms of, just maintaining passion for the various things that you are committed to?
I think any highly successful person would be lying to you if they didn't say that they work a whole bunch, because they do. And when you talk work-life balance, there is not a 9 to 5. So that balance doesn't exist. And for people who come into entrepreneurship thinking that's possible, it's not. What's amazing is you can create time in your day that a 9 to 5 would never allow. And I think that is the secret to the work-life balance. So for me, my mornings are sacred. Like I'm not really, clients will try to message at 6:37 and they know I'm not, unless it's emergency, you're not going to hear from me till about 9. So that like 6 a.m. to 9, like that's really for me, like me, the things that I love, the people I love, the humans I love. And then I have to create like some downtime throughout the day because as you know, as agents, we're going to work into the night sometimes, right? Like that's just the way the job goes. And so I just create times so you get really good at grabbing the time. Like, so we tend to be like, I have no showings today. That's your day. Like, go, like that's your work-life balance. Like you've been handed your day. Go enjoy your day. Go get a massage. Go walk in the mountains. Like that. And that's the challenge because not everybody has that kind of freedom. So I think too, as an entrepreneur, you learn that you can get comfortable with time on your own too, right? And I do think it's important to have one day a week, Sundays, where like that's your day with your family, your people, like you really just like that is my no day, right? And then if you're married or have kids, you've got to carve out like that evening, right? So, and here's the most important thing, you guys, because we're agents, we can structure our time. You just say no. Like literally, if you've carved out date night, let's say on Friday night from 6:30 to 8:30, 9:30, whatever. I'm done at 5. I'm done at 6:30. Someone wants to see at 6:30, show them at 5, right? Like, or pay somebody to go do that. Like, don't stop compromising on things that you don't need to compromise on. And that's part of the course that I created was learning how to scale. I am not this productive because I do it all myself. 100%. And that is the thing that they don't teach you either. Like you get in, you're like, well, how do I get from all these deals to like not running all these deals and putting me in the ground, but like growing, like where I'm moving to the next financial level, I'm moving to the next success level. Like that's the stuff that I coach because I had to figure that out, spending tens of thousands of dollars and trial and error. And it's like, let me save you the time. Like here's ways you can do it. Go, so, and that's also very important. I think if you come into real estate and you're wanting to scale your career, you should be leveraging that to create more time. But when you start out, that would be my huge work-life balance. Like have your mornings as non-negotiables. You got to get up before the kids. You got to get up, like you need you time and then you need the family time and then you start your day. Because I always tell everybody, you never know when your day is going to end. Right? Like if I start at 9, I could be working till 11. Like I never know, but I can control when it starts. Like you are not coming into my world until 9 or 10 o'clock. That was how I survived.
That's brilliant. I think it's so hard because especially when you're starting out, like, and you need the money and you're craving the money, you definitely put your family and your friends last. But it's so important to treat your friends and your family liked the $2 million listing, and they don't know, if you were sitting in a $2 million listing, you wouldn't be like, oh, let me get you a showing agent or let me, so you have to treat people like that, I think. And that's so good. Okay, I can't wait to ask you this question. So we're kind of going into singer-songwriter, which I feel like we need to know a little bit more about, but how has that creative side influenced your approach to business and branding in real estate?
I was doing it first. So I was Renee Ruth as a musician first. Ruth is not my last name. So I had kept that persona because I'd already built that person as a musician. It is my middle name. Ruth is my middle name. And so I'm like, Cher, just dropped it. It doesn't exist. So I got into real estate. Like I said, one of the reasons I did it too is music's expensive and I wanted to fund the music that I was making. I don't know how to produce. And so I write songs. I'm a lyricist. I'm a piano player. I write melodies. I write lyrics. I don't know how to make it radio ready. And so you need to pay for those things. And then I wanted to be able to perform and I wanted to have, I'd been performing, but I wanted to have more doors open and doors cost money. So a lot of the music that I've done since the pandemic has been funded by my real estate business. And so now I'm looking to figure out how to make that profitable, which is one of the reasons I've got taking a class on sync and sync agency. But it's been cool because I've been able to take the music I make and you'll hear it in the ads for, listings you'll just hear it's my music. It's like, you'll hear it in different stuff. And it's been able to connect like my clients back to me because I do shows at my office. And so I invite all my clients to come back and listen. And so the music lovers end up coming back. And so it's just a way to keep connected to my client community through my music. And then, I just was on an album that got nominated for a Grammy in blues, which is not even we were nominated. So I get to be called a Grammy nominee, even though it's just a tiny part of this album, but he didn't win, but that's okay. It's still, a part of the journey. So it's been really cool to have, I think the lesson, anyone listening, I'd love for you to learn is that you should not be consumed by real estate to where you let the other things that you want to experience in this life fall by, and that you can still be a high producer and still have other things that you're chasing and achieving and doing well in, so it doesn't have to just be real estate.
I love that, Renee, because I think there's, I see it in some agents where they're almost like afraid to be like a real person and share their like real life. But the reality is we're all just regular people, and we have lives outside of our work and our professional endeavors. And so it was always really important to me, like in social media, like I didn't really see a ton of value, and I know there is value for certain things, but in having like a distinct, like I'm going to have a professional account. It was like, well, I'm me. Like I have friends and I have hobbies and I have things that I enjoy doing in life. And I also really love real estate and I love serving people and helping people buy and sell real estate. And so it just became this like more holistic approach of like, well, this is me. And so I love hearing that about your music and your creative side. It's just like, you can't like separate that from who you are. It's just who you are. And so it's gonna, it becomes like a magnet for some and maybe just like an interesting feature for others. And so I just think that's so cool.
It's funny because people don't even realize my clients are like, you sang? Like some of them don't even know because I have two separate accounts and everything. I didn't put them together. I actually did Renee Ruth Music and then Renee Ruth Real Estate. And so I don't necessarily, someone once said you should put them together. And I'm like, I like the two worlds.
Yeah.
When real estate gets crazy, I go over there and it's not crazy. It's like, love it. When that gets stressful, like over here, like I just love the two worlds. And I think as an entrepreneur, anybody listening would do well to look at their strengths. What are the things that you do and how can you work them together? Because that is something that I think, a lot of agents could do. There are things, if you are a creator in any kind of way, real estate thrives off creativity. We have to make posts. We have to get gifts. We have to, how could somebody's like, you should write a song for your clients. Like I actually wrote a song for a house I listed that wouldn't sell. I went there, wrote a song, and I put it on TikTok. Like just finding fun ways to like collaborate with the things you love makes it fun, not work.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I know we're getting close to our time here, but one thing I really would love to just hear you share a little bit more about, we mentioned in your introduction the whole mantra of like what you think about, you bring about. And obviously we've talked a bit about mindset and just how critical and foundational that is. Can you maybe share a time when this particular mindset really shaped a pivotal moment in your career? Does anything come to mind?
Yeah, that 90-day. Oh yeah. Up until then, I didn't know how. I didn't set any kind of determined goals. I didn't understand how. I didn't think I had control. I thought that real estate happened to me, that I didn't create my business. I thought my business, like, that agent's lucky that because they're successful and they're lucky. Like I thought it was just something that happened to me. In fact, to be fair, most of my life prior to real estate, I thought my life was happening to me. My whole life was happening to me. I didn't understand that I had control over the creation of my life. Like it wasn't this thing that I just had to experience. It was something I could actively participate in the creation of it. And that was when I realized I was like, interestingly, that 90 days, I closed that 1 million. And then that following, like that week after I closed, first little love of my life, Joey, passed away. My first little Yorkie passed away. And I watched my business unravel. And I was like, it was so connected to my mind. Like because I was so upset. I was just 10 years I'd had him. I was so distraught. I was in this horrible marriage and now I've lost the only thing that was loving to me and like just a mess. I've achieved this really great thing, but I'm so upset. And so literally deals unraveled and it took a long time before I hit another $1 million month, but it was all here, which is why your comment about, moms getting in your head, we are our worst enemies. And when you understand that the things that you think about, the fact that if you think real estate's hard, guess what it will be? If you think real estate is its success is only for those people, guess what it will be? And until I understood that and then learned how to shift my mindset and you guys, I've worked with a guy now for a year on mindset coaching and he is night and day from last year in his mind. Like he's almost unstoppable. And it's all we've talked about is his mindset and then working through the things that you're talking about. The kids start acting up. He gets away. I'm like, we've learned how to pivot faster. It would take him out for a week. Then it was taking him out for 2 days. Then he could pivot within an hour. And that all of that affected his ability to do his job. And that's what happened to me when I saw it when my puppy passed. It took me weeks to come out of that upset and then weeks to get my business back. And I was like, it was all, and I'm not saying that like you shouldn't grieve and those things shouldn't be there, but you have to learn about how to make a time and place, right? And how to not because these things are going to happen, you guys. There's going to be hurricanes that take out entire villages, like things are going to happen. And you have to know how to handle those things well and give them the attention they deserve, but not let it affect your ability to survive and to thrive. And that is that skill set could take you into any career and be successful. Any of them.
You're amazing, Renee. Seriously, thank you so much for everything and giving your time and your busy schedule. And it was nice to meet Joshua in the beginning, your little pup. Well, anyways, I hope you have an amazing day and thanks for being here again.
It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Momentum in Real Estate. We hope you found valuable insights and strategies to propel your real estate journey forward.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us continue to deliver content that resonates with you. Remember, success in real estate is about continuous learning, growth, and serving others. Keep that momentum going and watch your business thrive.
Until next time, keep pushing forward and bringing your real estate dreams to life.
This is Cory Wall
and Kristin James signing off from Momentum in Real Estate.